Hey everybody, this is Dan, and in this video I want to talk to you about some techniques for keeping students engaged in an online class, which isn't always easy. One of the problems with online classes is that often we get complacent. So we have students read something and then they have to participate in a discussion board and then they have to respond to a few other students, and it sort of gets ho-hum, and it's really not always active learning. So some of the ways you can keep students engaged is to try something different, something that certainly relates to the material and that gets them actively involved in creating new material. So if you think about Bloom's taxonomy and levels of learning, for example, I'd like to get to that synthesis level where they have to create something new based on the material that they have read. So a couple of examples I've tried before. One of the things is to get students to teach the class. So one of the things I like to do is ask students in any given assignment what they feel the three most important things are from their reading or from whatever assignment I gave them. So in doing that, they have to think about the material and put some creative thought into it. So if they're reading a chapter on the formation of the Constitution, for example, I'd like them to list the three most important takeaways, the three things that they think are important for other students to learn. So they may talk about Federalist, Anti-Federalist, they may talk about the debates between Hamilton and Madison, they may talk about the Federalist Papers, they may talk about Jefferson and how he felt about a strong central government. So again, asking students to kind of sort of create their own lesson based on their three most important takeaways is an exercise that keeps them actively involved and requires some creative thinking on their part. The other technique that I've tried in online classes is for students to write a story that relates to something they've read about. So if we take a biology class, perhaps an anatomy and physiology class, for example, one of my favorite things is when we get to the macrophage. If you're familiar with biology, the macrophage is sort of a scary monster in a way, in that it's a cell in our body that encapsulates and eats pathogens, and it's kind of cool. So in one sense, it's kind of a monster, and I like them to write a story about the macrophage and how it's a monster and how it can be scary. I've actually had students relate that to H.G. Wells and War of the Worlds, with aliens landing from another planet, and relate those aliens back to the macrophage again. So just something to keep things interesting. There's a number of other techniques. So you can do something as simple as having students rate discussion posts. I know in Canvas there's a way they can vote on their favorite discussion posts, so that's something that's kind of fun to do. Thing to do is to have students create their own presentations, and you can use tools like VoiceThread or other tools where you can get groups of students together and they can create a presentation online. It could be a narrated PowerPoint, and the nice thing about that is, if you look at social constructivist theory, getting together in groups and learning together is really an effective way to achieve deeper learning. So there's a number of creative ways that you can keep students engaged in online classes, and usually it involves more than just answering multiple choice questions or responding to a simple discussion post. So keep those things in mind as you design your online class, and if you need any more help, let us know. Thank you. Have a great day.